And tonight, a Buck Stops Here special, an interview with Cherie Blair on life after Downing Street and whether First Ladies can ever buck the gender stereotype. Like always, you can send your comments by logging on to our website. Our webpage is ndtv.com/buckstopshere. Or if you prefer, you can tweet me as well. We'll carry your tweets through the course of this program. My Twitter handles @bdutt. Does a First Lady ever have the freedom to be herself, express her own opinion? And what if her opinion is different from that of her husband's? This is a question that First Ladies across the world, especially in the Western world, have dealt with. It was just one of the many questions that I put to the outspoken and unconventional Cherie Blair. She's our newsmaker tonight. Ms. Blair, the first thing that strikes me, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, is whether you feel freer today or more liberated because you can finally be Cherie Blair or Cherie Booth and not the wife of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Well, I think first of all, it was a fantastic privilege to be the wife of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. But of course, I'm still Tony Blair's wife.
Are you?
Oh, definitely.
You think that's your primary identity?
No, that's definitely not my primary identity, but it's a very important part of what I am. But of course, whilst I was Tony Blair's wife and whilst he was Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, there were constraints upon me, which now there are fewer constraints, because it was difficult sometimes for me to express views on things, because in expressing views when your husband's the Prime Minister, people think that must be his views as well. So now that he's no longer Prime Minister, I am able to take up causes that I feel particularly passionate about. And one of them, of course, is the cause of women, and particularly how we give women their financial independence.
When we talk about gender and when we talk about women, one of the things that imprisons women is the stereotype, is the cliche. And you were always someone who defied the cliche.
I think maybe more by accident than the design. I think that's true. If you're talking about the traditional view about Prime Minister's spouses and what they should or should not do, it's certainly the case that I was actually the first spouse of a British Prime Minister to actually have a university degree. And that includes the one man who was also
a spouse. Yeah.
But that, of course, was much more about historical reality, because for generations, of course, women in the United Kingdom didn't go to university. And it's only in recent years that they've gone in any big numbers, and I'm a beneficiary of that. Then, of course, I was the first spouse of a British Prime Minister to carry on with her own full-time job. But again, that was because having built up my legal career when I had 3 small children under the age of 5 and struggle to get to the position where in 1995 I become a Queen's Counsel, it never occurred to me that just because my husband had changed his job, that I should give up my job.
Did he ever ask you to?
No, never, never.
Did anyone around him ever think you should?
Well, I think that in Downing Street there was a big adjustment to be made to the fact that because I had a job, I wasn't sort of instantly available at a drop of a hat, and that there had to be planning about if there were things I had to do, I needed to be given advance notice so that I could plan my own diary. And the other thing is, of course, that in Downing Street we don't have any housekeepers or cooks or anything like that, and traditionally the wife of the Prime Minister has been the one that has done all that.
She's expected to cook?
Oh, absolutely, and indeed she, meaning me, did cook. But as a result of which, of course, we had a lot of takeaways, I think.
Did your husband ever cook?
Tony has always expressed a desire that he's going to cook one day, but that day has yet to come.
And did you feel resentful that it was the wife that was expected to cook? Because both of you were working people, and this may be the Prime Minister's residence, but these are the arguments that men and women have in their homes all the time.
Well, you couldn't really feel resentful. I mean, when Tony and I, when he wasn't Prime Minister, you know, there might have been times when perhaps, because I always did cook, if he came in late with his dinner, that he might find that he got a rather frosty reception. But when he became Prime Minister, and you know, he'd ring up and they would say, oh, he's going to come up now at 7 o'clock, and he would be coming up to put, especially after Leo was born, Leo to bed, and then, you know, have dinner.
Tubar.com